This is I had my 30th birthday, so I was gone. I talked about this on Monday, but obviously way more of you are watching here because so many of you are cheapskates. But we appreciate you just as well. Just, we're not making any money because YouTube decides they want to screw us. Not even. And someone asked me, what's the most important lesson you've learned, do you think, in turning 30? And I realized I think it's honestly doing something as hard as you possibly can, consistently, pushing your limits. I've learned more in pushing my limits in a controlled environment about myself and about the world probably than I have in any other case. That's how, think about it, it's how you get stronger, that's how you get faster, that's how you get smarter. I mean, pushing yourself within the constraints of not hurting yourself. Pushing yourself to your absolute limits in private so that you don't break yourself in public. And a lot of people I've realized have gone through their life and never done that. How many people out there how many of you can honestly say to yourself that you lifted enough weight to the point where you were struggling, that your nose actually bled? How many of you can say that you ran as fast as you could until you puked? How many of you can say that you studied as hard as you possibly could to the point where you actually started borderline hallucinating? You feel a physical vibration in your head where you're mentally broken. How many people out there can? Now, some people can. For the people who can't say yes, I'm not saying this to chastise you. I'm saying this because it'll change your life. That is where I have learned the most about myself. And I was thinking about this because it was spurred on by, I was at the gym, and this CrossFitter girl had a shirt on that said, "Limits? I've never seen mine yet." Now, for anyone who knows me, you know that I'm not a huge fan of bullshit. So I said, "Oh, like your shirt." "Yeah, it's great, isn't it? No limits." I said, "Yeah. Can you bench 350? She said, "No." "Is that a limit?" So it's one thing to have a bumper sticker slogan, but this is from people who don't know. It's like people who come into when you're doing jiu-jitsu is a good example. I'm using physical examples because these are things that I do, but it could be basketball, whatever it is that you do. It could be Sudoku, it could be chess competitions. But we'd have people come in with shirts that say, "I never tap." Guess what? They tap. They submit early and often because they're new to something. But people who wear these shirts, people who love the bumper sticker slogans, people who really thrive on sound bites, these are people who've never tested themselves because you have to know what your limits are. And you can only know your limits if you've actively tested them. I was talking with my wife about this. She works in a furniture industry. And with textiles, think about this for a second. It'll say like mercerized cotton, I think is a term. I could be butchering it. And it's a cotton that's dipped in a certain, I think, alkaline solution. It makes it softer, and it makes it 25% stronger. Think of anything, whether it's a Tupperware container.
Is there a bath of that I can find somewhere?
Yeah. Think of this where any kind of a material or a fabric, right, where you see it advertised 25% stronger, 50% stronger, or longer lasting. When someone is making that claim, whether it's a person or whether it's a commodity, how do they know that? The only way they know to the T that it's 25% stronger is because they broke it. So you can only know when you're about to break, you can only know how to break yourself or how someone else can break you once you've done it yourself. And I've been dealing with some stuff recently. We can't necessarily get into all of it. And identifying weaknesses, there's another thing too. So I don't mean to be like a beta male who, "It's good to cry and be weak." No, you should never take pride in your weaknesses, okay? But you should be honest, and you should have a healthy enough ego to address your weaknesses. Again, this comes with pushing yourself. This is just me, 30 years old, was thinking about all of it. There's probably more strength in identifying and working on your weaknesses than any other action you can take. So weakness in and of itself is not a virtue. It's not something to be proud of. We've gotten into a culture where people just say, this is my weaknesses, take me as I am. No, that's not what I'm saying. But being able to identify it and say, you know what, I don't know, maybe I'm not super educated. Maybe I'm emotionally unavailable. Maybe I'm not the best husband. Maybe I'm a weakling who can barely bench press the bar. You never know. Whatever it is,
a lot.
Identifying your weaknesses can be one of your greatest strengths. And that's relative. That's the beauty of it. People who are accomplished, when you look at them, they're not people who say, everyone can do it, it's easy, or they're not elitist. This idea of testing yourself to your maximal capacity, knowing what your limits are, instead of a t-shirt that says, "Limits, I haven't met them yet," then you haven't tried. Every person who's successful has met their limits, has gone past the limits and broken themselves and taken some time to recover from it. You need to do that. Everyone needs to do that at some point in their life. So if you're wondering right now and you're teetering on, is it the safe bet? Is it not? Every now and then, and I don't mean it in the gangster term, break yourself, fool. It is important that in a controlled environment where you can do it safely, break yourself so you know where that point is and someone else doesn't do it for you. Because I tell you what, if you don't do it yourself, someone will be glad to take you up on that opportunity. That's probably the most valuable lesson I learned in my first 30 years. You tell me, leave it in the comment section or tweet me at SCrowder. See you Monday. Mug Club members, Thursday for Cheapskates.